Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, I wanted to start a show where I examine things that I like in very specific detail, like video games, comic books, movies, you name it. And we're going to lead off with something relevant in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I wanted to talk to you about the Shinra infiltration scene, chapter 16 or something. But fact check it, put it right there, bam. What I noticed about how Shinra was portrayed in 7 Remake was that it was very much so like Disney. So that's episode 1, the Disnification of Shinra. So let's define Disnification. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines Disnification as the transformation of something real or unsettling into carefully controlled and safe entertainment or an environment with similar qualities. Alan Bryman, in The Disneyization of Society, really nails the essence of the word Disnification with the phrase trivialization and sanitization. Essentially, we take a scary subject, say the life of a native woman in navigating the world of colonialization and her own people's genocide, and sanitize it into something more palatable like the romance between Pocahontas and Mel Gibson. Now, for some context, and to kind of flex my Disney muscles here, I'm a Disney kid through and through. I've been to Disney World more times than I can count, and at the drop of a hat, I can sing you the entire soundtrack to an embarrassingly high number of animated films. As a rational adult, I'm well aware that this stuff is just marketing, but goddamn if I don't crave the illusion of a Disney park. And if I haven't made it apparent already, I will be spoiling a significant amount of the late game of Final Fantasy VII, so if you haven't played it, you may want to come back after this. And for those of you who have done the required reading, you know that at this point in the story, we've started to discover Shinra's real and nefarious agenda. And all of that evil is covered up with a heaping helping of propaganda. And that is where the Shinra Memorial Museum comes in. While we'll be primarily focusing on the Shinra Memorial Museum, it is important to note the similarities between the two companies, Shinra and Disney. Both companies expanded widely from their origins. Disney went from an animation and movies to theme parks, hotels, cruises, toys, television, you name it. Shinra Electric Power Company, on the other hand, started off as a weapons manufacturer and then quickly shifted to energy, aeronautics, and materia. Interestingly, both Disney and Shinra ended up becoming pseudo-governmental regimes. Shinra HQ, much like Disney's castle, towers over its surroundings. It's its hive of the citizens of Midgar, far away from the deep, dark slums that are hidden underground out of sight. The contrast between the upper and lower plates is stark. Everything up above is clean and orderly, like it's literally been sanitized. When we eventually climb to the 60th floor of the Shinra HQ, because elevators are for wimps, a digital receptionist ushers us to the Shinra Memorial Museum. This detour is required viewing for any guest who wants to reach the upper floor of HQ. Upon entering, we're greeted with a towering golden statue that looks uncomfortably similar to the statue of Old Walt Magic Kingdom. Like, they even have the same mustache. Lining the walls of this ego shrine, we see various exhibits to Mr. Shinra, showing off his humble origins, rise to pseudo-political power, and his cameo in James Bond. The Roman columns and the otherwise cyberpunk, future-sleek architecture add an air of self-aggrandizement. I like the literal red carpet they've laid out. You know, another Disney attraction is adorned with marble pillars and portraits of old white guys. Yeah, in the Hall of Presidents, you look at a few sparse exhibits and some paintings, then you're led into a room where you're forced to watch robots give a bare-bones US history lesson. Before you can proceed to the next room, you're forced to watch a short visual introduction to Shinra's 5 main henchmen. The game literally locks you in and tells you how cool Shinra is, how progressive they are, how good they are at dropping one city on top of another city. At least we get to carry this seductive image with us going forward. The next room definitely feels like a blend between the long animatronic show in the Hall of Presidents and the cyber nightmare version of Tomorrowland. There are a few small sets showing the world of tomorrow, of warfare. Shinra's lackeys each have their own section where, instead of uncanny animatronics, we get holograms. The Shinra upper echelon either give an apathetic speech about their job.
What? Read this? This paper right here? Give me a moment. Welcome to the Shinra building.
Welcome to Shinra headquarters. My duties as Director of Research and Development are, in all likelihood, far beyond your ability to comprehend.
Or don't bother to show up for the recording.
The Advanced Weaponry exhibit is currently undergoing maintenance. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Reeve, the heart of the company, being the sole exception, who takes the exhibit seriously.
Welcome to the Shinra building. Our mission here at Urban Planning is to supply the residents of Midgar with energy created from Mako. We also take pride in maintaining public infrastructure, the pillars and railways that run all throughout the city.
After the exhibit room, we're locked in again and we're forced to watch a short movie reaffirming just how great Shinra is, and watch the livestream take a short tour of Midgar. The parallels to Disney become inescapable when we get to the next room, with a large model of the city in it and a narration about how the citizens of Midgar will never run out of Mako. Walt Disney's ideas of the world of tomorrow have some startling similarities to the city of Midgar itself. He originally envisioned a circular city divided into little slices. Trams, or people movers, would be the main source of transportation. Sound familiar? When Disney died during the development of Epcot, the world of tomorrow ultimately became Future World and carries similar aesthetic choices, including the people mover. Past attractions have even used similar propagandistic tools to Shinra, such as the Universe of Energy, which was sponsored by ExxonMobil and talked about how great oil is. The World of Motion gave some insight into infrastructure, like the previous room, and Horizons imagined about technological possibilities, so they probably didn't wonder as much about war as Shinra did. The planetarium in the next room showcases a beautiful hologram in which Shinra fancy themselves the modern-day equivalent of the ancient, a race of people who lived in harmony with the Earth. You know, Disney had something similar with The Land, a feature sponsored by Kraft and later Nestle, which also extolled the virtues of humans living with nature. The planetarium is almost perfect. If Mr. Shinra himself had done the narration while walking around a model city, it would have been exactly like Walt Disney's televised showcases of Disney World. It's no secret that old Walt had this idealized simplification of historical events. Song of the South, and, by extension, Splash Mountain, absolutely brush over the existence of racism and slavery and completely ignore the context in which those stories were told. That being a white man giving his incredibly problematic interpretation of African American fables. Native Americans are just set pieces in Adventureland. Their genocide during the era of Western expansionism is non-existent in Walt Disney World. So too does Shinra almost entirely ignore the districts under the plate and idealize their own expansionist warmongering with Wu-Tai. Ultimately, I think Square Enix did a great job recreating the upbeat Disney-esque environment by showing Shinra off through the lens of characters immune to its facade. Maybe they're trying to hint to us that we should look at corporations a little bit more critically, no matter how cute or friendly their image. Even as a Disney fan myself, when you strip away the veneer of nostalgia and corporate programming, it's unsettling to see the issues being ignored or exploited underneath. Thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, you can click the like button down below. And if you really liked it and want to be updated on future videos I make, then you can subscribe as well. I also stream on Twitch 4 days a week. I'll leave a link to that as well as a schedule in the description, as well as links to all the articles I referenced in the video. I hope you have a good night, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.